Braids are a staple in Black culture, protective, versatile, and beautiful. But could the synthetic hair we use be harming us?
Let's dive in.
Okay.
All right, probably smiled a little bit too hard on that. My name is Reva Anderson at Reva Hair Studio, and I am a 15-year hairstylist that specializes in color, natural hair, and extensions.
And my name is Okwe Okolie with Transformed by O, and I am a natural hair stylist where I specialize in flat twist, natural hair extensions, and hair maintenance. So let's dive into the conversation about exploring facts over fear.
Okay, so what are our facts and what are our fears?
Okay, we're exploring facts and fear over whether you should be using synthetic hair or not.
So many of us have had braids in our hair, whether we started off with the micro braids back in the day, or crochet braids, or we graduated to the boho braids, the goddess braids. It's summertime right now, so most of us are looking for protective styles. Our conversation today is about synthetic hair, and a lot of reports have been coming out talking about how there are carcinogens in the braiding hair. And so we're here to talk about what we can do about that if we still choose to use synthetic hair, and what it looks like if we are choosing to use human hair.
Or alternatives, because there are alternatives.
The blends.
Not even the blends. There's some alternatives made of, I believe, banana peels or bamboo. Yeah.
Interesting.
They have some new things out there. Yeah, and made by Black women too.
I want to support.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to put up on the screen some of the things that are said to be within the synthetic hair. But so one thing I wanted to touch on was the Consumer Report. I'm sure you've seen that Instagram where the man is talking about how there's these particular carcinogens and how they affect us, specifically whenever the hair is heated and when it's ingested. So one of the things I did kind of feel some type of way about was we don't ingest hair. Yeah. So I don't know if that is a fair way to demonize the hair, because it's almost like if we don't ingest it, and yes, we do heat hair because we burn ends sometimes, but burning ends was back in the day. Yeah. But we do dip hair. Right. So one of the things I was thinking about for myself, I don't do braids like box braids on a regular basis, but I know there's a lot of box braiders out there. And I think it's actually more harmful to us, the stylist, than it is to the client, because we're the ones who are exposed to it the most often. So I'm like, okay, what does that look like in the salon? Does that mean that we should no longer dip hair in hot water? Like, do we get a towel and steam it? Is that releasing the same amount of chemicals? Yeah. That is one thing that I'm interested in, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
So you said ingesting, and some people use words, and it's just like, I think I know what you mean. Like, as far as like the Consumer Report, as far as like, we're not eating here. You know what I mean? I hope not. But there is contact. So let's say you keep your braids in. Most people keep braids in at least 4 to 6 weeks. Right. All the time that you sit in that chair, 4 to 8 weeks, right? Like, you want to make sure that you get your use out of it. And so that is constant contact, is skin contact. And it's the same thing to say about the Consumer Reports about different clothing lines having different carcinogens in them, and the fact that they have to list that now because it's been proven to cause different types of cancer. And that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But I would say something along the lines of that. And to your point about heating things, there's different things that I don't use at the salon anymore as far as chemicals, whether they be specific types of keratin treatments or blowout treatments. I can feel it burning my lungs. So you can't tell me that it's actually healthy for me. And so for a client that gets it at most 2 to 3 times a year, it could still be detrimental, but imagine a stylist doing 1 or 2 per week. I mean, it's just that part, especially if you specialize in something like that, is not something that I feel like the distributors think about, because they're thinking about the clients, obviously, or the consumers, but as stylists, we're like hyper consumers of whatever product there is. Right. And so with the synthetic hair, it may be more detrimental to somebody who is handling it more often, more exposed to it more often. And I don't know the sciences behind it. It would be something we would literally have to test it ourselves all the time. Right. I do get braids and things like that during the summer, maybe twice a year. I try to use a lot of human hair. If it's like a goddess braids or something like that, or the boho, I'll do human hair. I'll color myself. I just like specific colors, so I'll do that. But the base of it is the synthetic hair. I've heard of people dipping it in like apple cider vinegar and things like that. And I
don't think that's doing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it. I don't know if it's actually stripping the chemical, if there's a smell that they're trying to get rid of or something like that.
There's a flame retardant thing that is on hair.
Yeah,
that I think the apple cider vinegar is removing.
Breaks down.
But outside of that, it's not.
It's still the same.
We're talking about the actual structure of the hair.
Exactly. Yeah. So at the salon, at my salon, I use human hair to do my foundation, braids and things like that. So we don't use a whole lot of synthetic hair. We're not doing individual braids. So that's something that I overall feel like has helped my clients' hair. Just because we'll use our foundation braids, we'll use a synthetic hair where I previously used it. And now I just like how soft the human hair is when I'm doing my takedowns. And I this is a personal opinion. I feel like there's a little bit less breakage, if there is any, from, a takedown. From
shedding is normal because accumulated.
Yeah, I mean, it's hair that you would normally lose. It just, it just looks like it's coming out at the same time. But yeah, I haven't used alternatives yet. So I would be interested in that. I know there's usually like a cost difference associated with that.
There is a cost. So on the thing, I'm actually considering adding human hair as a breakdown for hair extensions as well, because of the fact that you mentioned, like, it could be softer on the hair, easier to take down, and then we're avoiding the whole synthetic hair fiasco in the first place.
Yeah.
I did want to mention, I had a conversation with somebody at church, and she was asking me, what is my take on synthetic hair for kids? And I've always been like a no-go for kids, not even because of the carcinogens, but mainly because I think it's good to let kids get used to how their normal hair looks.
Yeah.
And I think until they're like maybe in middle school, when they want a lot of different styles, or like they're in sports, so it's easier to just get braids. But I feel like when kids get used to having long braids at the age of 4 or 5, they get so used to it that if their regular hair is not catching up to that length, I feel like it creates some type of dysmorphia. Maybe dysmorphia is too strong, but
no, it might. I mean, of all ages, that's just an identity thing.
Yeah,
and if their hair, and it depends on what area they grow up in, what type of kids they're around. If everybody has long hair and their hair is more coily, all the things that we went through. I mean, it's difficult because it just depends on, again, your environment, who you're exposed to, what you're used to looking at. And not to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I am seeing kids very, very young with very long extensions. And growing up for me, you were getting ponytails and the bobos, okay? Like I was always hitting them bobos on my head, getting little bruises, because that was the extent of the accessories, little clips and things like that. It was like, I want you to look like a little kid. Right. Because you are. We weren't really using like a ton of gel and things like that. And I know times change, and, we want to try different styles on our little girls and things like that. And I think that that's great. And also, especially with the individual braids, just being conscious of the amount of tension.
Just edges.
We can segue.
Let's finish the alternative.
Okay.
I do want people to know.
Okay, we were moving too fast. Okay.
So as far as alternatives to synthetic hair, and again, I personally am in the middle on whether you should use synthetic hair or not, because I think, again, like, this is a whole industry. I don't want to dismantle a whole industry, because, I mean, braiders still got a braid. And people still want to go on vacation and wear their box braid. So it's almost like, okay, is it a matter of limiting your usage? Is it a matter of finding vendors or brands that put on their packaging, we don't have these particular carcinogens? But when it comes to alternatives outside of human hair, there's 2 brands. I can't remember the names, but we'll put it on screen or in the description box. That, like I said, one of them makes them from bamboo and the other one makes it from banana peels or something of that sort. Like I said, we'll put it up. But I think the only issue that I've been noticing when it comes to those brands is the price. But even with human hair, like human hair is technically an alternative to synthetic hair, and human hair is 10x the cost of, not even 10x, way more, the cost of synthetic hair. So I'm like, it's all about your budget and, for lack of better words, how much you care about the impact of these things. Because I feel like my thought, and this may not be a fair comparison, but I'm like, guys, we ingest so many things that really affect, that really actually affect our health, maybe quicker than braids would affect us.
Yeah.
I mean, but we don't have any way to quantify it. So, I mean, we have a way to quantify things that we ingest because you can literally visibly see. If you're ingesting a lot of rubbish, you see it on your body.
Right. Yeah. It's just a matter of tracking all these things. Yeah. And so if you have that type of time to break down like every single, and I'm a little meticulous, so I kind of know like, that it's almost like the process of elimination. Like if I don't feel good, okay, let me take this out. Let me take this out. Let me take this out. Braids, again, unless you're getting them consistently throughout the year, it's hard to know like how much they're impacting you. And these are, I guess you could say, newer studies. Mm-hmm. And so there's been results, periodic results, but I don't know how much this has been talked about in order to like know like, okay, if there was an issue, then you would see it after this amount of time. It really truly is, like you mentioned, hard to know because there's so many things happening at once. I mean, if you got pollutants in your water, pollutants in the air, pollutants in the chemicals in the food, the 2,200 things that we kept in the States and everybody else is just magically getting rid of because they're causing cancer, but for whatever reason, another conversation for another day. So, but it is important to pay attention to the things that matter because all the variables and things that we ingest or are exposed to are important. So it's just like the more you know, and you just do what you want with that information.
Right, exactly.
But it's just always good to have other resources,
pretty much,
in case you want to, spend the extra money. So we'll like put in the description box some different links on the bamboo. We can call it bamboo hair, banana hair, banana hair.
Let's call it Black-owned synthetic hair alternatives. Yeah.
So we can list it under there, and you guys can check out the prices and see if it's something that you want to delve into. Look, I am a color girly. My hair is brown right now. It's only going to go up from here. Right. So my blends and things like that. So I'm going to check out the sites too to see what they have available. And who knows? You never know what you might end up liking a little bit more,
So we definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you feel about the synthetic hair? What is your take? Are you going to do the alternatives like what we mentioned or the human hair? Or are you just like, I'm getting my box braids and I don't care what y'all say, regardless or irregardless. So definitely put your thoughts in the comments below, and we cannot wait to hear from you guys.
We'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.